Hello. I wanted to tell you the story about the Muslim man that I sort of dated. I don't know. This is a very confusing story, and still to this day, I honestly don't know what to make of it. So we met on a dating app. I think it was Bumble. Oh, I have this hibiscus iced tea today, and it's heaven. Anyway, we met. I think it was Bumble that we met on, but we had a really good couple of weeks of talking and phone calls. He was very intentional about making sure that we both felt like it was a good match before we even spent time meeting. I appreciated that. We had some differences in our religion, but they weren't that different, and it was kind of actually really fun to talk to him and get like a more well-rounded understanding of his understanding of what the Muslim religion was about. He actually gave me a copy of the Quran, and I was reading it just to learn and explore, and we had some really good conversations. It had been a very long time. There's only one other person that I felt like I could have real in-depth interesting conversations with. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I was excited about our first date. And we met at he's very polite, very kind, very thoughtful. We met at a place near my home, and he had never had tacos before, I guess. He's here on a student visa, and so he'd never had tacos before, and so that was kind of fun to go and explore tacos together and kind of show him how that works here in America. And it was just fun. It was just nice. Like I was building, I had a garden going on at the time. This was last summer. I had a really good garden that was producing a lot of awesome stuff. So I brought him some, fresh vegetables. His family was visiting him. So, they were able to cook with the vegetables. It was just a lot of fun back and forth, right? So after that first date, because by then we'd been talking maybe for almost a month. We'd had a first date, and he asked if I wanted to be exclusive. Not in the jump in and we're together forever, but just only talk with each other and only get to know each other and see how this would progress moving forward. Still with that intentional side. And I agreed that, I wasn't really talking to anybody else anyway, but I agreed that I would, not entertain anyone else while we got to know each other. And he agreed the same. Had, some more texting that night about how we had such a good time, and, said he was really excited to use the vegetables the next day when his family was visiting, and just kind of the normal pleasantries when you're getting to know someone and building a friendship, right? And then nothing for days. And then he reached out again, and I thought, well, maybe he's busy with his family. And then he reached out again and set up another date, apologized for being a bit busy. And then we were going to have another date, and he was having family in town for a while, I guess. And so he wasn't sure if he'd be able to see me right away, but wanted to kind of schedule some phone calls in there a little bit more. And at that point, I was like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Your family's here. You need to focus on your family. You don't really know me well at all. I mean, it had only been a couple of days since I hadn't heard from him. I did think it was weird that it was so consistent and then suddenly stopped. But then again, his family was traveling from far away. So, and he did reach back out and apologized and had made other plans to see each other when his family left and wanted to talk in the meantime. So some of those conversations in the meantime got a little bit concerning, and this is where it gets confusing. He, as we're getting to know each other and I'm finding out why he was divorced and why he's not with his children, and if he's planning to go back, right? Or if he's planning to stay here. And it came down to the fact that he wanted to come here and his wife did not. I don't know why. Now, I've done a little bit of research. Sometimes not the whole family can't get a visa together, and it's not an option for everyone to come over. So I don't want to come off as judgmental. So there is that possibility. But my question still remains, if you are coming here to improve the life of your children, as you say, why did you divorce their mother? Or are you not divorced and you're lying and you're trying to get like two things going on? So I asked those questions. We had a rapport of being able to have like open back and forth conversation. I kept that same atmosphere and that same attitude, and he got so cagey. He couldn't quite explain why he didn't want to stay married to his ex-wife. He never planned on going back, so he basically never planned on seeing his children until they were old enough to potentially come over here on their own student visa. That really bothers me. I don't think that people should abandon their children for any reason whatsoever. I can absolutely understand somebody going or coming here for a better education, but then going back, right, to still be part of your children's life. That makes sense to me. But completely leaving and just leaving them behind, and that doesn't make sense to me. And it might just be because I have a Western mindset, but it just didn't sit right with me. And he couldn't confirm that he was actually divorced. He couldn't confirm that he couldn't confirm anything. So it was just super weird. I just felt really uncomfortable that he essentially abandoned his wife and children. So it made me consider, and I didn't say this fully out loud, would he ever abandon me if things got to that point? Like, he has a full family. There were no problems. He just decided that he wanted something different for his life. He didn't take his family along with him, and he didn't have any consideration for his family in that process. And it just really sat the wrong way with me. We ended the conversation okay. Like, he wasn't offended at all. I didn't give off any like irritated whatever. But I never heard from him again after that conversation. So I don't know if I touched a nerve. He never, confirmed the date, the tentative plan for the date. I never heard from him again. So this was also around the time, recently when people were being deported for crazy reasons, with Trump. And there was a lot of people that were just being sent back to where they came from. So I honestly don't know if he was picked up in that process, and there may have been reasonable explanations for all of this, or at least something that he would have felt was reasonable. Maybe he didn't intend to completely disappear, which of course is heartbreaking and sad, and I hope that things are well with him. But it doesn't change the fact that he abandoned his family to pursue his own personal interests. And so I don't think that I would have continued seeing him even if he had reached out to me. And then, of course, the other option is he did intend to just not reach out because I touched a nerve and I got too close to the truth that he wasn't ready to deal with, which is very possible. And that happens on both sides. That happens all the time. Like, we all have things that we are maybe not ready to deal with. A healthy partner would still have that conversation and circle back and say, hey, this would be better next time, or hey, this doesn't work for me. But at any rate, it ended with some confusion, and I was disappointed, but it hadn't lasted very long, so I wasn't completely emotionally invested. So I just kind of used it as a just confirmation that asking those hard questions in the beginning is a good thing, because it allows you to know if you should get emotionally invested in someone. All of these big topics need to be discussed before you get all wrapped up and swept away, for sure. So if I ever do, decide to date again, I will continue asking those hard questions in a respectful way, because somebody who can't have a true conversation is not going to be a worthwhile partner anyway. So, yeah.